What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, as always, it's time on Mondays for me to do my review of the latest episode of the HBO docuseries, the now controversial HBO docuseries, Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. This was episode 8 of season 1. And now these episodes are starting to um, move into some juicy areas, at least from in my mind, as far as that first season between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Now, the rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird is being touched upon more. It was first introduced in the last episode, as far as on the NBA level is concerned. The actor that plays Larry Bird looked just like his ass when he was younger. Um, Bird is definitely being played right now as Magic's antagonist. You know, the later friendly or frenemy type relationship between Magic and Larry, that's not going to come anytime soon. I don't think that really started until around 84ish, I think. And then it gradually improved for the rest of their years as NBA players and since then after retirement. But as with always with these episodes, you have multiple storylines going on. You see the introduction of Julius Irving in this particular episode. I don't think the actor that plays Julius looks much like him, but it is what it is. It's just my opinion. One thing I think you got to give credit to this series. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I do want to say I think it's extraordinary that they have gotten actors who not only I think are performing very well, but can convincingly look like NBA players as far as when they're actually playing basketball. You know, the, it's rather convincing. I also like the fact that they're hiring a lot of short actors to make the players look taller, or the actors, I guess, look taller than what they really are. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar does look like a 7 footer in this series. Kareem, looks like he's 7 foot 2. Magic and Julius look like they're well over 6'6", 6'7", because they're hiring shorter actors. The camera angles make people look taller. So I want to compliment the series on that. Um, the other dynamic that you see with this episode is Coach Jack McKinney is preparing himself to come back and coach the team. As we all know, his assistant, Paul Westhead, had been the interim head coach, all right, with Pat Riley being his assistant. Pat Riley going from being the color commentator with Chick Hearn, the legendary Chick Hearn, to being Paul Westhead's assistant coach. In the dynamic, however, we noticed that Pat Riley, if you pay attention, is the more demonstrative and more assertive of the two coaches, even though Paul Westhead is his boss by technicality. Um, Pat has a reassuring manner, a better bedside manner than Paul Westhead. He's more personable than Paul Westhead. I think he's also more savvy in some ways, all right? But there's also that cutthroat mentality he has. You see it when he has great interpersonal skills talking to, say, Spencer Haywood about the knee, and maybe we need to dial it back a little bit, get that knee checked out. But then on the other end, he's confiding to Paul Westhead and Jack McKinney that they may need to trade Spencer Haywood for Bob McAdoo. All right. Um, Jack McKinney still sees himself as the head coach. Um, however, there are obvious signs that Jack McKinney is not himself. All right, he has memory lapses. Um, there you can just see that the head injury took its toll on him. He's not the same person. Um, Paul Westhead is very loyal to Jack, but at the same time, Paul Westhead does have his own personal ambitions, right? He's very grateful that Jack plucked him from the position he was in and has gotten him into where he is. So he has mixed loyalties. He feels as though he should be loyal to Jack McKinney, but he does want to continue coaching the team. They've gone on a hell of a run without Jack McKinney, and Pat Riley's in a position where, look, Pat quit his job. Pat quit his job. So if Jack McKinney had it, Pat Riley will be out on his ass. That's not right. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The character of Jack McKinney in this episode, I'm not saying Jack McKinney himself. The character of Jack McKinney in this episode pisses me off. All right? He pisses me off because the team has done a great job without you. A great job. Better, actually. You're deluding yourself into thinking that you're the coach that you were. You still have a lot to recover from. And I think that Jack McKinney his ambitions are superseding his logic here and him seeing reality. And I didn't like at the end when Paul Westhead said, Jack, we would like if you would come back next year. Let us continue coaching this team. And Jack McKinney totally flipped it as if Paul Westhead is in the wrong. You talk about loyalty to you, but you completely ignoring the fact that Pat Riley showed loyalty to Paul Westhead by quitting his job and believing in him and believing in his team. And then you insult Paul Westhead by saying that I picked you because I know that you're nothing and you'll never be more than a second banana. That's why I picked you. You're not worthy of being a head coach. That was fucked up because Paul Westhead was wearing himself into illness about confronting you about staying on, and then you feel that way about him. If I was Paul Westhead, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm staying the head coach, and I have fucking the leg to stand up on you or over you because you're sick. You're still recovering from this head injury, and we're running strong. I just thought that was fucked up. I'm not talking about the real situation. I'm talking about in this atmosphere of this episode. And then, of course, the other situation going on. As you can tell, I'm really getting into this series. So, other episode is going on. Other things going on is Jerry Buss's, the owner's mother, is dying. Okay, she's dying of her metastatic bone cancer. She's trying to hide it from her son. Okay, she's confided in her granddaughter that she was dying, but they didn't want. They don't want Jerry Buss to know this. Jerry Buss is the type of person that I guess they see he's a guy that has Lowry on his plate. He's the type of guy that wants to believe the best of everything, so they don't want to burden him. But his daughter is tired of living in an alternate reality where everything has to cater to him. So she blows up and tells him that your mother is dying. Face reality. And one thing about Jerry Buss that I don't like too about him is he tries to make everything about him and his pain. And, it is what it is. Him and the nurse is supposed to be working with his mother, and he ends up fucking the nurse and promising, to pay for the. I don't know, man. The guy's just whatever. Um, and I think that's about it. Oh yeah, there's one other thing I want to say too. I don't know whether or not the complaints from the real Jerry West about whether how he's being portrayed is affecting this episode. I don't know whether those complaints came before this, but Jerry West seems a little bit different in this episode. He seems to be genuflecting about his personality and his unhappiness and you know the depression. But he has a conversation with Magic about how he can see that behind all of that smile, it's a facade, and that Magic really is not happy just being good. Magic wants to be great. Magic just wants to win, and that's all he cares about. So the episode kind of goes off on that note because Jerry was unhappy from all of the losing that he endured in his career. Great individual player, but he lost all the time except for 1 year, and even that didn't give him as much solace as he thought it would. So I like this series, man. I know a lot of people have their issues with it. Fuck them. Well, I don't mean fuck them. I know some of y'all don't like them, but I'm talking about some of these people that just want to get it canceled and all that. At the end of the day, I love this damn series. I think it's great acting. I think that for the most part, the casting has been great. And I always look forward to each Sunday night to see the next episode. But tell me what you guys think if you've seen the episode.